Have you ever ignored a hunch only to realize later it was dead on? Or found yourself drowning in noise, doing everything except listening to your gut? Or like the world's too noisy to even hear yourself think? What if that silence you avoid is where your truth has been hiding all along? Yeah. Welcome to the shadow of deafness, also known for its fear of listening to one's inner guidance. Today, we're diving into the silent revolution, and trust me, silence has a lot to say. This is the paradox of the 43rd evolutionary pattern of change, where your deepest fear isn't about being wrong, it's about being right before the world is ready. But first, I'll start with the parable of the star listener. At this point, please close your eyes and visualize the story I am about to share. Once in a small village surrounded by endless sky, there lived a child named Nellen. While others feared the dark, Nellen loved to sit in the stillness of night, not because it was quiet, but because he heard things others didn't. The stars, he claimed, would speak. Softly, just whispers, but always truths. He would return to the village with strange ideas, solutions to problems no one had voiced. He said the stars gave them to him. Some laughed, others scolded. His parents told him to stop being weird, so Nellen stopped listening. He filled his days with chores, obligations, endless noise. The whispers grew faint until they disappeared altogether. Years passed, and he became successful by the villagers' standards. Respected, efficient, logical, but empty. Because deep down he knew he had silenced the only voice that was truly his own. One night, in a moment of despair, he returned to the hill where he once listened. The sky was quiet until a soft pulse echoed within his chest. It wasn't the stars speaking this time. It was him, the voice he had abandoned, now ready to return, not with answers, but with presence. And in that, an epiphany sparked, not in words, but in being. This 43rd pattern of evolutionary change begins in a strange place, not in ignorance, but in knowing that gets buried. The shadow of deafness is not literal, it's a metaphor for the fear of listening to one's own inner truth, especially when it threatens to disrupt everything one has built. It's the fear that what's coming through you is too different, too soon, and too much. We drown it in overactivity, endless thinking, or trying to meet the world's expectations. We call that being productive, but it's actually a spiritual form of avoidance. This challenge starts at the body level, when one's nervous system is overrun by fear, the fear of rejection, fear of failure, fear of not being valued. Your body creates noise, racing thoughts, muscle tension, hypervigilance, all of which disconnect us from our intuitive hearing, our body's natural intelligence. You're not dumb or blocked. You're physiologically primed to survive in a world that taught you to doubt your inner knowing. So when insight does try to arise, it feels threatening because insight by nature wants to disrupt. It wants to innovate. And your body, still wired for safety, says, no thanks. This challenge rarely plays out in isolation. In relationships, romantic, family, professional, you might withhold your truth to keep the peace, or force your ideas out too quickly, trying to prove your worth. The repressive nature of this shadow becomes the one who stays silent, the peacemaker, the doer who never rests. However, the reactive side of this becomes the loud genius, the rebel, the one who pushes ideas before they're ready and wonders why no one listens. Both come from the same core wound, that if I share my truth, I'll be rejected, or worse, irrelevant. The complementary shadow of deafness and its fear of listening to one's inner guidance is also paired with the shadow of complexity and its fear of being misunderstood. That repressive nature is to feel dumb, and the reactive nature is to feel fragmented. So think about that for a moment. Contemplate that. The shadow of complexity working with the other shadow of deafness. In one tries to speak and explain themselves to the point of exhaustion just to try and help someone else understand. And the other, the one that we're referring to in this one, the shadow of deafness, is afraid of listening to the voice inside oneself. So you can see how these shadows work together to undermine our true sense of self from knowing what to share, when to share it, in a very simple, eloquent, and quintessential way. For those interested in doing deeper personal alchemy and wish to have a means of accelerating an understanding of shadow work, over the last 3 to 5 years, I have collected a wealth of information from various esoteric systems, namely the I Ching, human design, gene keys, the chakra systems, and astrology, as well as integrating them with the human genetic code. And in this chart, you will find the details of all the different shadows, all the different fears, the specific fears that fuel those specific shadows, all 64, all in relationship to each codon. And in this wheel, you will find 4 legends on each corner because they can't all fit on one corner or one side to make it a nice, evenly balanced square. So here is the statements from each zodiac sign, so you can see. And then we have the legend for each chakra. You'll notice that there are more than 7, and because there are more than 7, because it is including the spleen as a means to detect threats. So there's an intuitional center there. There's also a center of willpower called the thyroid, because when we are born, the thyroid is literally almost, if not as big as our heart. So we have to accommodate that. And on the other side of this, you will also find an understanding of the I Ching, the hexagram system, the different trigrams, the relationship to the three-dimensional plane, the yin and the yang, and how each of the 6 lines are affiliated with different archetypes, thanks to the human design and or gene key system. And lastly, you will also find the human genetic sequence chart for all the amino acids associated with the human genetic code. But furthermore, you will also find in this chart all the different zodiacs, all 12, mixed with the human design gene key chart. Bear with me, my graphics card is not as fast as other people's on their computer, but you will see all the different fears, all the different shadows, and how they relate to each chakra in those colorful little dots. So you can see how it affects each energy center in the body and how each of them have their own repressive and reactive statements because there are 6 expressions in each challenge. Therefore, you will also find those 6 lines in there, all with their own repressive and reactive statements, their associated dilemmas from that specific shadow, which eventually will clear up, the gift from making the right choices regularly and practicing that gift with its own unique self-empowerment statement. So as you learn to vacate the trapped emotions such as sadness, fear, anger, shame, and guilt, and you will reorient towards true self-alignment and honoring the intuition and inner authority that you possess. It will lead you towards the grace specific to that challenge. So if you would like to learn more about this and or you would like to download this file for your own personal means of translating your specific challenges in the human design system or in the gene key system, it is all there for you. All you have to go is to my website and download this PDF file. It's about 50 megabytes in size. I hope you enjoy this and hope you enjoy this brief glimpse into this massive PDF with all the details about all the specific challenges you'll have in your personal self-realization path. In order to find this PDF, a link will be found down below in the description of the YouTube video. When using that elaborate and vast chart of information, you can use the human design apps found in the App Store on Google Play so that you can choose whichever speaks to you most. And as you choose whichever human design app works best for you, you can then use that towards the chart. So you get your information and your numbers. And then after that, you can use the chart as reference. For example, I use the human design app, which helps me see the specific numbers that I need to see in the top right-hand corner. The red are the unconscious. These are the ones that were imprinted when the soul decided to remain anchored in the body about 90 days before you were born, between the second and the third trimester. The black numbers indicate the conscious, more aware challenges that you know you have in your current life, based on your survival challenges and your adversities currently going on in your life. You can also find that same application in the Human Design App Store for iPhone and or iOS before you start using the chart that you have purchased online. Thank you very much. And if you ever need more information on this and you wanted a free consultation in understanding the current challenges in your life and how it relates to human design, feel free to reach out through the links below. You can also visit thegenekeys.com. There, you will also find a different kind of chart. It relates to the same challenges and same numerical sequences as found in the I Ching and Human Design. And there you'll be able to find the free profile link where you can then enter in your personal information in this field and then have a look at your specific gene key profiles and understand your genus sequence, your Venus sequence in opening up your heart, your love sequence, prosperity, and finding inner harmony. Thank you for watching this short introduction into the Wheel of Evolutionary Change and the chart that I've shown you in brief. And hopefully through those apps and through this PDF, you will find a way to decode the challenges you face and understand how to make the best choices for you and everyone you were meant to impact positively in your life. Now back to the shadow work and the evolutionary change in this video. Here's what's often misunderstood. The challenge of this 43rd pattern of change isn't to fix yourself. It's to trust that what wants to move through you has timing of its own. In spiritual terms, insight is a gift of grace. It doesn't come from mental effort. It arrives in stillness when you're not trying to be seen, heard, or right. This is the path of spiritual ascension through surrender, not power over, but power within, where you no longer fear not knowing, and you no longer cling to knowing either. You just listen, and eventually you receive the epiphany. And when it comes, it's not yours alone, it's for the collective. It's meant to bless everyone you touch. So if you've ever felt unheard, if you've ever doubted the brilliance inside you because the world didn't reflect it back, I want to offer you this. You're not broken, you're not late, You're not lost. You are simply learning to hear again, to trust that grace is never absent, only waiting for your stillness, and that your truth, when it's ready, will not only set you free, it'll awaken others. If this message resonated, let it breathe in you before you act. Then, if it feels right, share this video, leave a comment, or just sit with the stillness. The stars might be waiting to speak. Thank you for watching this video in its entirety. I look forward to providing even more content so that you can navigate these shadows with more ease, more understanding. So in the end, you know what to do and what choices to make because they feel right to you, not just logically supported. Down in the description below, you will find more information on this shadow. You'll also find links, one to contact me via email to arrange for a time of consultation, and it's free. The other is my website link, so you can learn more about me, what I do, how I do it, and why. The other links are to 3 support groups, divination systems, so that you can grow your knowledge of these alchemical practices, not just for yourself, but share your ideas and your revelations and your experiences with others. The other is the emotional intelligence group, which allows you to help you navigate, understand, and have healthy dialogue with your emotions so they don't run your life. They participate in it. And lastly, the emotional trauma release group, where you'll learn how to let go of unprocessed emotions that keep things complex and don't allow you to listen to your true inner guidance. That's a safe space for you to allow everything to emerge, to be freed, so you can create vacancy and be able to listen to that inner guidance more clearly. God bless you on your journey. Namaste, and good life to you all.